Hello, it is the final assembly of the academic year. And I know this has possibly been the most challenging and, don't mind me saying, the weirdest year certainly I can ever recall. And I'm sure for your parents too. And I know an awful lot has been compromised before we've even got to this point. This assembly is entitled Endings, because ending sometimes has a bit of a negative connotation to it, doesn't it? But I always choose to see it as a positive thing. Not least is the very fact that, as you're all hopefully now aware, you will be coming back to school in September, all being well. Hopefully nothing will change over the summer holidays. And that in itself would signify the end of this period of lockdown, which, if anything you'll feel like I do, then that's definitely a positive thing. So let's just click on and see what we mean, and let's explore that meaning of endings a little bit further. So the word end can seem quite final, can't it? You can see from that illustration on the right hand side there, where I've used the black and a full stop at the end of it that implies that something is going to stop. And that thing that might be stopping is the thing that you might really, really enjoy, like being at St Andrews, I hope. It might be being with a class teacher. It might be being with your friends. Some of you might be moving on elsewhere. But also, for some of you, hopefully all of you, the end of the academic year can signal the beginning, first and foremost, of a summer holiday, which I don't know of anyone who wouldn't be excited about that. But this sense of a fresh start too. And I want to explore this word of end a little bit more because it features in an awful lot of words that which we can take a positive view on. And to explain that a little bit further, I'm going to click onto the next slide. So here we have the word end. And I can imagine some teachers right now looking at this who have been doing some Sounds Right training during lockdown in between covering classes and doing Class Dojo and all those other sorts of things, going and blending them and segmenting them because they're going to be doing lots of training in preparation for you guys all coming back in September. But this word end actually can serve as a root word, and we could put suffixes and prefixes and all sorts of things to it to actually take a different meaning from it. And the first one we're going to look at is the word mend. So you can see I've added an M to the beginning of the word end, because actually, but at the end of the year or the end of anything, if we're going to have something that's going to change, it's an opportunity to mend something that might not be as you would like it. It might be a friendship. Bearing in mind, perhaps you haven't seen your friends very frequently, if at all, since lockdown, and there's an opportunity to build that friendship up once again. It might be a case of taking the opportunity during the summer holidays to fix something. There's a prime opportunity to go outside, hopefully, and maybe you haven't been out on your bike as often as you could. Maybe you haven't been on your bike because it's been broken, and that's something we can fix. There's lots of things we could possibly do. So it could be something physical, like a bike or some toys, but it could also be a relationship. I know it's been very tricky at home. Having been at home myself with my family during lockdown, it has been stressful at times. And so there's an opportunity to get back to some level of normality and start remembering to look after one another and being helpful once again without the stresses and pressures perhaps that you might feel in trying to do your schoolwork. We can also look at the word spend. So again, you can see that root word highlighted in red. Now, this is not an invitation to go spend lots of money during the holidays and make all sorts of demands upon your parents to get things for you. But actually, how you might choose to spend your time is a really, really important one. Because although summer holidays, particularly in the eyes of children, will think it's never long enough, there's a prime opportunity to spend some quality time with your family. And that includes brothers and sisters. Because actually, and I've included a picture of Snoopy in here, especially for Mrs. Cole, who is a big fan of Snoopy. And I love this quote. It says that love is spending time together. And perhaps because of all the pressures that have been taking place over the recent months, there hasn't been the opportunity to do that, or perhaps it hasn't necessarily been quality time with parents trying to do work at the same time and trying to educate you guys, or having to run here, there and everywhere and dropping children off and do lots of the other adult things that can sometimes mean they don't get to spend as much time with you as perhaps they might like to. And here's a prime opportunity during the summer holidays to perhaps repay them and spend some quality time with them. The next word is ascend. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky one. But basically, you are all ascending all of the time, whether it's physically growing or coming to the end of the year, you are going to be moving up a year group. So you're going to be moving up. And that's essentially what ascend means. So we obviously have our current year sixes who will be ascending into the Soham Village College. We'll have nursery ascending into reception and so forth. So it's a really exciting time, isn't it? And it just is testament also to growing up, becoming more mature, trying to learn from our mistakes, and actually starting the new school year and preparing for the new school year ready, and willing and wanting to do the best you possibly can, and perhaps targeting those areas where you know you're not as confident or as able as you are in some other areas of the curriculum. The next word is friend. Because actually, above all or anything else, friends are hugely important, aren't they? And I know lots of you have been missing them. I know some of you have been fortunate enough to be coming into school and perhaps you've been keeping up with them on a daily basis. But I know lots of children who haven't had that opportunity. And that's something to look forward to. But the summer holidays in itself might also present an opportunity to catch up with friends. And that might not necessarily be physically face-to-face. It could be via Zoom. I know we've all been doing an awful lot of that recently. But it might be just be reaching out. It might be the opportunity to go out and play with them again. So again, it's an opportunity to rekindle the friendships perhaps that you haven't been able to spend as much time with that you might if you were ordinarily in school. There are loads of other words I have to say with an end. I did Google it and yeah, there are lots. So I've narrowed it down a little bit to some words that might be quite relevant or pertinent. So to recommend, perhaps, lots of you have been doing some reading. You could recommend something, recommend a book, or recommending a place to go. As things are opening up more and more, you could perhaps recommend something where your friends could go and visit, or something to watch, or something to read, like I say. It might be the word send, as in sending a message. I know, particularly the older children have been using WhatsApp to keep in contact, and I do hope you keep that up over the summer holidays and keep in contact with one another, because I know it can be quite tricky during the summer holidays. But technology these days means that we can always be in contact with one another, doesn't it? It could also be depend, in the sense of being reliable and helping. We already touched upon spending quality time with your family and loved ones, but also there's no denying that we do depend on grown-ups to look after us. But we could be dependable as well, couldn't we, in helping out around the house, perhaps keeping bedrooms tidy, perhaps helping out in the garden, perhaps even helping cooking. I know there will probably be lots of opportunities in which your parents can depend upon you to be helpful. And the last one I've put on this page is legend, because actually that's what you all are. You are going to go down history as the lockdown children. And I have to say, you have been genuinely phenomenal in the way you've all coped this, and I extend this to parents as well. I can't thank you all enough for the support that you've given the school during this difficult time. And I think collectively together, I think we've done really, really well. But that's only because we've worked collectively together on this one. But also, I'd like to extend that to the staff, who have also been legends, because they have been working tirelessly from homes, in classrooms, in Zoom meetings, in posting things on Class Dojo. And I have to say I'm hugely indebted to them, because they have been nothing short of absolutely amazing. And they too are legends as well, which I'm sure you'll all agree. The last word I wanted to include was the word splendid, following on from being a legend, because again, splendid is what you are, is what you have been, and what you will be, as I know, when you move up into your next classrooms. An awful lot of planning and preparation has already gone out, and letters have gone out to parents outlining what the school's going to be doing to try and ensure that everyone remains safe. But every opportunity is going to be for you to get back into school and to some degree of normality, which in itself will be splendid. I'm really looking forward to coming back to school, and I hope you are too. So this really leads me to the point of the significance of an ending, and hopefully, having just looked at a few examples of words in which the root word end features highlights that endings aren't necessarily a negative thing. In fact, more often than not, they're hugely positive. I've put a couple of images below on this slide, and you can see, and you might have heard of these expressions in the sense that where one door closes, so therefore implying an ending, another door opens, and that another door provides more opportunities for you to learn, to grow, to develop, to have more excitement, more fun, make new friends, endless possibilities. And that's the best way of looking at a fresh start in September, and the fact that it's going to present a whole new wealth of opportunities for you all, and they're going to be enormously exciting. I know that for a fact. So every ending is in fact a new beginning, and as with everything that comes to an end, there will be lots of opportunities. In fact, throughout your entire life, things will come to an end, but that will signal the beginning of something new and fresh and exciting. So with that in mind, I would actually like to extend a really enormous well done and thank you to the Year 6 children who have perhaps probably got the biggest significant ending, but also, as I was just mentioning, perhaps even more exciting beginning. Now, that's not to say all the other children in the school are not going to have exciting beginnings too, but it's a big step for the Year 6s who will be moving on to secondary school. I think pretty much the entire year group will be moving on to Soham Village College. And I know, despite the disruptions this year, they are completely ready for secondary school. And I know they are going to continue to represent St Andrews and being phenomenal and fantastic and polite and conscientious. And I know I speak for everyone at St Andrews, all the staff and all the pupils, in wishing them all the very best of luck in their new, exciting path into secondary school. So it's not just the Year 6 children who are going to have quite a significant transition as their time at St Andrews comes to the end. We are going to be saying goodbye to Miss Murray, who has been helping in Year 2 as she's been undergoing her teacher training. And despite all the difficulties, I'm delighted to say that Miss Murray has successfully completed her teacher training year and has managed to secure a teaching position, teaching Year 5 and 6 at another reasonably local school, where I know she's going to be genuinely phenomenal and fantastic, and has all the makings to be a truly outstanding teacher. I know we'll see Miss Murray again soon, and actually, hopefully, as time progresses, I'll work hard on trying to poach her back if I can. So hold tight, Miss Murray. But in the meantime, I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing her all the very best in a new, exciting pathway into teaching career. So that really only brings me to the end of the assembly, and to wish you all a very happy, relaxing summer holiday. I do hope, grown-ups, that you manage to get some quality time with your family, and not just with children, but I appreciate extended families that perhaps you haven't been able to see as often as perhaps you might ordinarily have. To staff who have been phenomenal, I'd like to make sure they get some quality time and are ready afresh for September, because I know children, parents and staff, sincerely, we are genuinely looking forward to September and getting back to some level of normality. Not least, I for one can't wait to see everyone back at school. So I'm going to say a prayer, and if you would like to join in, by all means, put your hands together, bow your heads, or if you don't wish to join in, that's fine too. And you might just want to take a moment about reflecting upon the past year and thinking about what exciting new opportunities you have to look forward to, not just over the summer holidays, but into September as well. So, dear God, thank you for our school and the year which is coming to an end. Bless our families and homes during the holidays, and bring us all back safely to a new term. Amen. Thank you so much for watching the assembly. Obviously, correspondence will be coming out during the summer holidays too, so do look out for those. They will be emailed and posted on Facebook and Class Dojo and Tapestry and every other means of communication you could possibly even think of. If I don't see you before the end of the holidays, I hope you have a really fantastic, well-deserved break. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.